Okay. Okay, let's see if that's going to work. All right. Hey, good evening there, Pipe Pals. How are y'all doing? Holy Smoking Pipe Padre here. I'm got a little bit of music in the background. I don't know if it's going to disqualify me again with copyright violations. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I know there's a lot of stuff going on that's really kind of intriguing about YouTube and the internet. And in fact, just watching a couple of videos the last couple of days about how the internet has been sold over to the United Nations. And it's probably going to affect a lot of how YouTube has worked in the past. A lot of new maybe censorship kind of things will be put in place, perhaps. The freedoms that maybe we once maybe used, and I would dare say even maybe abused, will probably maybe be kind of reined in a little bit. That's what they're saying, at least, according to Philip DeFranco. How you doing, you beautiful beep? I won't say it, but anyway. Interesting YouTuber, but again, a lot of people who make videos, whether they make videos and use a lot of expletives, or they have what is considered dangerous thoughts and opinions, are now going to be subject to more scrutiny and possible censorship. I dare say that I would not be surprised if people in the YouTube pipe community wake up one day and find out that because pipe smoking is considered politically incorrect, that maybe our videos will be deleted or are flagged or whatever, and we will then be, our channels will be discontinued. It's a possibility. No, I'm not fear-mongering. Anyway, sitting here on a beautiful evening, got a little autumnal coffee here, and I am smoking. Somebody asked me about meerschaums, and I thought I would pull out one of my all-time favorite meerschaums. I am recording this on my iPhone 7, not the 7 Plus, just the 7, and it has better low light, supposedly, filming. I was filming in 4K, and I have to tell you that just really ate up a lot of not only real estate on my hard drive on my Mac, but also kind of was a bit labor intensive. It didn't like shut the computer down, and it didn't like, grind it to almost a dead halt, but it just really did tax my system, even on my new Mighty Mac Pro here. Smoking some Autumn Breeze. Not to be, I'm sure many people would probably find that pretty appropriate on a night like tonight. So anyway, I'm making this in just a regular high definition 1080p. 60 frames per second on the new iPhone 7. Again, hopefully it's doing a little bit better job than my other phone. Yes, I'm here tonight, kind of just relaxing. We are looking forward to some rain. According to the forecast, the next 3 days we're going to get socked. So it won't be a Hurricane Matthew, but they are predicting that we're going to get some pretty heavy rain. So that's good. So those of you who survived Hurricane Matthew, I'm so happy that you made it through. Many people, I think, made it through unscathed or with little to no damage. Certainly, with a hurricane, you're going to have some damage. That's for sure. Uprooted trees and shrubbery, and sad to say, are the occasional branch falling on a car. Ugh. But that's why we have insurance. At least we hope we do. Well, tonight I just wanted to enjoy a pipe. It's my Sherlock Holmes pipe, meerschaum. Somebody asked me, did I have meerschaums? What did I think of meerschaums? And meerschaums are are wonderful. I love meerschaums. Again, I think they're kind of an acquired taste. Now, some people like the element or the material meerschaum is a pipe. But some people may not care for the hand carved figurine meerschaums, and that's perfectly okay. I think I've always been intrigued by the figurine meerschaums. I really have. I got this back when I was in seminary at not a briar patch, a tinderbox in Palo Alto, Stanford Mall. I don't know if that shop's there anymore. Sad to say, because pipe smoking is lumped in with all kinds of smoking, it's considered by many people to be very politically it's kind of a naughty thing to do. So, but that means there's more pipes and tobacco for the rest of us. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, like I said, I was just enjoying the evening tonight and getting ready for this wonderful storm that's upon us. The clouds have been circling, and there's been a nice heady wind that's been blowing all day, and tussling the leaves here and there and to and fro, and certainly autumn is in the air without any doubt about it. So anyway, I'm going to probably undo this here real quick. I was getting some gurgles there. Don't really like gurgles that much. I know that you don't like gurgles either. I know. I don't either. It's probably one of the few things about a pipe that I just, have to, gotta take the bad with the good, I suppose. But anyway, this is a really nice pipe, and I really enjoy it. For the most part, meerschaums are a wonderful dry smoke. So, I get a little sip of my coffee here. Yeah, I just got this iPhone 7 about a week ago. And mostly for the cameras, and also the force feedback or force touch that you can do with new applications. Interesting concept. I know a lot of people, if they are into Apple products, are probably waiting to get the iPhone 8. And by all accounts, it's supposed to be quite revolutionary. Innovative, that's the word I think people really love when it comes to Apple. Want to see something really innovative. And hopefully we will. But then again, I think it's interesting. We've been spoiled. I mean, for the last 10 years, there's been a little technological bump where all these new little techno toys and the internet and then making it all work together have been kind of, coalescing and coming together and making computing a lot more integrated. But you can only go so far, and then it's truly the next leapfrog in technology has yet to occur. So all we're doing now is just building a better mousetrap, or in this case, a better iPhone. So a lot of people who have been spoiled by, some really pretty good little innovation things, really, innovation is something that people, it's not something that we all kind of vote on and say, well, let's innovate and make it like this. It usually is people figure out how to take what is currently available and combine it in such a way that makes something that is now a platform for something that is innovative. Something that hasn't existed, but basically innovation is probably another creative way of saying creating a need that really doesn't exist, but now you're going to make something that, now I'm going to create something that people are going to want, and I'm going to create a perceived need. So, anyway. I put up my last video. I made 2 versions of it. I think most people probably figured that out. One was, and again, this is where YouTube sometimes, well, they will surprise me, and like I'll have music play in the background and I won't get a copyright strike at all. I play maybe 15 seconds of a piece of music and all of a sudden I get a copyright strike. Seems a little draconian to me, especially because I'm not monetized, so I'm not trying to make any money at all. But it just seems a little bit, again, kind of draconian that they kind of, technically, I guess it's a copyright infringement, but I'm not trying to sell anything, not trying to make any money off of anything, so just trying to add something to, if you will, a little bit of artistic expression. And so sometimes when I do that, I'll get a little bit of a copyright strike, which means that people like in Canada and I guess Europe, UK, EU can't see the videos. They won't let you see the videos because I'm a naughty boy. So, but anyway, so I made that video, and basically what I did was I took off the 30 seconds. So I think I had 15 seconds or 20 seconds in the beginning, and I played the same song at the end, and then I just took it off. And so, voila, no copyright strike. Anyway, I had a few comments on the video, and but I wanted to talk more about not so much the comments or the people that made the comments, but where people, I think, are coming from. So I had one person, 2 people that kind of felt that, well, how can you, as a man of the cloth or a minister or clergy person, whatever, how can you support Donald Trump? And first of all, I want to make clear, I am not supporting Donald Trump. Okay, I will be honest, I am not voting for Mr. Trump. I will vote my conscience, but it's not going to be for Hillary, and it's not going to be for Trump. I almost this year, for the very first time in my 59 years, almost, well, I've only been voting since I've been 18, so 30 plus years, almost considered just not voting. But I do believe that I do have a civic responsibility to vote, and I will vote. But I will vote my conscience. I will not, and again, that's my conscience. So I will write somebody in. But it was interesting because a couple of people commented on, I said some positive things about Nigel Farage, and they feel, in their opinion, that Nigel Farage is a racist. And I understand, I've heard people say that, but again, I do not see it that way. Again, I think Brexit was all about, and again, no, I am not a citizen of the UK, and so some people say, well, you need to just keep your fat face out of it, and you have no skin in the game, you have no right to even comment. Well, okay, maybe you're right. But from where I'm sitting, I believe that Brexit was all about British sovereignty. Now, that's where I think the problem comes down. Somebody also said something about Pope Francis and building walls, and how he's against, Trump because Trump wants to build walls. And, well, let me just flash a little picture on the screen now, shall we? Here's a picture of Vatican City. Maybe I'll show another picture of Vatican City. And another picture of Vatican City. And what do you see? You see walls. Walls are not bad in and of themselves. It would be like saying you shouldn't have locks on your doors. You should let anybody come into your house, whatever. eat whatever food they want, sleep in whatever bed they want, do whatever they want with your family or whatever. Well, you'd say that's ludicrous. That's bizarre. You can't. No way. Okay? Most people have locks on their doors. They actually have doors and they have locks on those doors. They have locks on their windows. Okay? There is nothing immoral about a country, a sovereign country, having borders and having a legal immigration process for people that want to immigrate. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, granted, that comes from an older time, an earlier time. And I believe that, yes, America and the UK and the people of France, we fought a war to overcome fascism. And fascism, interestingly enough, is really more from the left than it is from the right. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't see it that way. So I understand people feel that way, and I understand that there's a lot of people that look at the New World Order and they don't want, they want what they want and they want it now. They kind of, a lot of people are, I guess they call it being on the dole in the UK, and people on subsistence or welfare here in this country. And I am not against people who are in need having access to government-funded programs like that. But a lot of the young people that were up in arms the weekend after Brexit passed were mad because they were going to take away their free college. They even thought they were going to take away the NHS. A lot of people have pretty much become dependent upon government to such an extent that if the government did fold, there'd be millions of people that'd be in real dire straits. I mean, we all would. If say, God forbid, there was a nuclear war and, all of a sudden the power grid goes down and it's down for good. We're all in the dark ages, okay? But too many people are living with their dependence upon the government. They have, in some ways, I would submit to you, they have become slaves of a government system. And so I believe that Brexit was all about trying to regain British sovereignty. Instead of having people in Brussels make laws that people in the UK would find out later, what's this new law? We're being taxed this now, we're being taxed that. We didn't vote on this. So anyway, but when you say you want to have an immigration policy, like I was looking up tonight, if I wanted, just for grins, if I wanted to immigrate to the UK as a legal citizen, there are things that I have to do to become a legal citizen. I just can't I can fly over there with the passport and that acts as my visa, then I could stay, I guess, for 6 months. But if I really want to become a true legal British citizen, I'm going to have to apply for that. And I'm going to have to meet certain things. I'm looking at it right now, in fact. Okay, if you want to become a legal resident in the UK, you're aged between 18 and 24 and have lived here for more than half of your life. So I guess if you moved over there with your family, maybe your family worked for a company, and you were, say, 6 years old, and now you are 18 or 20, clearly over half your life you've lived in the UK, you could apply for citizenship. You've been living in the UK for a long time, kind of the same thing. You're returning to your home country. You see, returning to your home country would be dangerous, okay. You're you've got strong relationships in the UK. Possibly, whether it's work related, maybe you're, maybe even like, for example, me being a padre, maybe let's say I was working for the diocese in, Rochester or something like that, or some other diocese in the UK, and I'm, I have a real function. You've got children in the UK, okay? So So anyway, but again, there are conditions, and even I looked on Mexico, and there there are conditions there too. You just can't just cross over the border and expect to just live here, and then again, that's all that Nigel Farage and the people in Brexit were trying to vote for, was that they wanted to reestablish some laws about immigration. And for some reason now, people have made that into a racist thing. You're a racist if you want to ask people to apply for legal citizenship. I don't know why that is racist. You'll have to explain that one to me. Every country does have laws. And it's not racist to have immigration laws. It's just not. It's not racist to have borders. Again, even the Vatican itself has a border, has a wall. In fact, it's not just a border, it has a wall. Again, I think what the Pope was, somebody says, well, aren't you proud of the Pope because he was saying we shouldn't have walls or build walls or whatever? I think what the Pope was feeling and sensing from, again, a lot of the spin on the media, the liberal media, was that we were going to kick out anybody that was an immigrant and to hell with you, and you're not coming back in here. That's not what it's about. And again, I'm not here to defend Mr. Trump's policies. I'm just saying that naturalized citizenship is not a bad thing. In fact, for all of the last century, people came in droves and they went through Ellis Island and they became assimilated naturalized citizens. I even got a hate comment, or an angry comment, I should say. Hate's probably a little bit too strong of a word. But somebody did not agree that people should be, quote unquote, assimilated. And assimilated doesn't mean that you forego or denounce your culture, your ethnicity, not at all. But it does mean that you adopt to the beliefs, customs, and standards of your new country. You inherit some new things, okay? You augment your human experience. But for some reason, that's considered bad. I mean, it's okay for you to augment another culture and say, oh, I want to appropriate in a positive way and these things. But anytime you want people to assimilate positive, say, American values, people are quick to jump on you and say, well, those are racist and those are xenophobic. And no, I'm sorry, I disagree. And that's what I wanted to talk about mostly, not so much what some of the how the arguments were kind of going back and forth on these issues. But what is it that makes a person believe what they believe? Now, obviously, you'll say, well, it has to do with your upbringing. It has to do with your life experience, and I completely agree. And again, because not everybody has the same experience. We all grow up in different ways, different family systems. For example, let's take something that's pretty obvious: smoking a pipe. I dare say if somebody did not have the experience of having a family member, and I have to say a positive family member. Now, if this person was an odious ogre, you would probably run from anybody they saw lighting up a pipe, because you'd have a negative association with the pipe because of that individual. But I could say that because my brother, who was an inveterate pipe smoker, would come home and load his pipe and sit there and talk to us about all sorts of very fascinating historical things, and just life in general over a pipe and a cup of coffee. In this case, I got some coffee right here. I thought pipe smoking was magical. I enjoyed the beautiful, angelic aroma that floated through the house. This was all a positive thing. This was not a negative thing. But if somebody did not grow up experiencing it firsthand, and all they were told is, smoking is bad, it'll kill you. Well, then the first time you see somebody smoking a pipe, you're going to be against them. You're gonna have a really negative opinion against them. And I think that's the way it is with some people, is they have been indoctrinated to see things as bad. And this whole concept of anything that's conservative is bad. And I thought, why would you think something that's a conservative value is bad? I would dare say that the structure of society is built upon the infrastructure of conservative values, and from those conservative values can flow more, if you will, libertarian or liberal values, okay, like a social welfare program, or looking out for the needs of the disenfranchised, or those who are at, say, a lower level of the economic society, helping them maybe to achieve and to work their way to a better life. So you can have social programs, but they have to be built upon the solid structure of, I think, conservative values, whether it's fiscal conservative values, moral conservative values. But right now, we live in a society that has been indoctrinated, and I dare say even brainwashed, to think that conservative values are racist. They're even fascist. You know, all these horrible things because they're from the right. They're conservative. And I'm just thinking that somewhere they were indoctrinated, and instead of being able to appreciate firsthand, you know, it's like the first time you start working. Now, granted, I'm very grateful for the fact that we have an unemployment system. Of course, you pay into that when you're working, and when you're out of work and you're looking for a job, it is helpful to be able to depend upon or rely upon unemployment insurance to get you through that rough patch. But again, that part of that, you pay into that. Your employer pays into it as well. So again, it's not something that is kind of like a handout, but at the same time, it is kind of a helping hand to help you get from maybe one transition to another. I mean, nobody wants to live constantly on the dole, or you know, on the government. I mean, it's pretty sad. But so again, I'm not opposed to those programs, but I would say that, and this is what I learned, was that the moment you start working, I'll never forget this. I looked at my very first paycheck, and at first it looked like, wow, that's a good wage, and then I saw all the taxes that went out of it, and I was like 1/3, almost, yeah, at least 1/3 went to federal taxes and state taxes, and I was shocked, and I thought, well, this isn't fair. Well, guess what? A lot of your money goes to help support, you know, the government, the promote the general welfare, provide for the common defense, and all that. Okay, that's part of what your taxes are all about. Now, again, many people say, well, it's a fraud system, and you know, it's all a sham, and to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the Internal Revenue Service. I'll be honest, but you know, watch me get a gig on that. You know, somebody's going, oh, he's an anarchist. You know, no, I mean, I believe in paying our fair share. I pay my fair share. Again, I'm not griping about that at all, but you begin to realize that. Listening for the phone. Okay, didn't hear it ring. So again, there's a sense of, okay, I'm now working, and there's going to be a price. But again, when you kind of sit there and you say, well, okay, you know, it's kind of a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow. When you realize that a lot of your income goes to paying taxes. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not opposed to paying a fair share, but sometimes it seems a little inordinate. And again, I'm not, you know, I'm just saying that, again, if you're somebody who has had that experience, but if you're somebody that you could depend upon the government system to give you housing, or to give you an education, or to give you all these other things, and you're not really working to earn it, well, that's not right either. In fact, St. Paul says, if you don't work, you don't eat. There's a sense that you do have to be responsible. You have to pay your way. So again, I think that there's personal responsibility as well as social welfare. So, but anyway, but again, it's what a person was, I guess, raised with. What were your values? What was your values in growing up? Who did you learn values from? Like I said, it's really important that you don't just take what the media says. The media has, I think, poisoned a lot of people into thinking one way without really having an experience of something and saying, well, okay, this isn't really what's being made out to be. And I think that's really important, is how we received our values. Now, there are some things people say, well, some people were raised as racist, Okay. I don't know to be honest, I don't think I know. I'm trying to think, do I actually know a racist? I'm just trying to think. Do I actually honestly know a racist? I mean, if you go by today's current culture, most white people are considered racist. That's what the new political speak will tell you. But just calling somebody a racist or a xenophobe, or you're hateful because you see things a certain way, that doesn't make you a racist or a hateful person. It just means that you have a different opinion. But again, I think we've been poisoned by our current social media, with people hashtagging all these interesting things to get people to kind of like lemmings all agree, and we're all going to march off the cliff together, It's okay, I think, to have people say, you know what, I don't agree with that, and here's why. And just because I don't agree doesn't mean that I'm a racist or I'm a xenophobic or whatever. I was a military chaplain, I was a state chaplain, and I worked not only with Muslim chaplains, but I worked with Muslim inmates. I think one of my inmates' clerks was a Muslim, and he was a great guy. I got along with, we would have conversations in my office. They'd come in and talk to me and tell me, about the Quran and about Ramadan and their fasting. I'm always interested. I've been interested in fasting for a long, long time. And so the concept of their fast, eating the meal of the poor man, that was always something that always kind of appealed to me. And I tried doing 7 days of Ramadan on my own, trying to, because I had to supervise the inmates. I made 7 days. I did 7 days. But now I could probably do it, to be honest, I could probably do it no problem. Because I've been doing the one meal, the OMAD diet, 1 meal a day. I could probably do it fairly easy now. So I probably would not find it at all difficult. But again, it's getting yourself acclimatized or adapted to a new way of living, by a new way of eating. So, and again, that's the same way I think it is with looking at things from kind of I wouldn't say middle of the road perspective, but try to look at things more objectively instead of just taking one side and then trashing the other, but trying to see merits, maybe not only flaws, but merits in both sides as well. So again, I think that people are, obviously we're educated, and some of us are indoctrinated. And I think indoctrinated is that people are just told what to believe and they don't stop and really think about it for themselves. They just ape and parrot what they think their overlords want to hear them say, and to me that's not genuine. That's not good. If you have a disagreement, then say it. Be honest about it. Say, I don't agree with that. Okay? Again, right now, tonight, as of October, 13th, in the year of our Lord, 2016, I can legally still say that. But there could come a time where saying some of the things I'm saying tonight could get me in prison because I'm saying things that are politically very inappropriate for some people. And they don't want to hear it, you know. This whole idea of having safe spaces on colleges, it's ludicrous. You know, you're afraid that you're going to hear an opinion that disagrees with yours. My friends, that's what college is all about. It's about thinking, critical thinking, listening to different opinions that are different than yours. And if you don't like it, well then, either, fight your corner, stand your ground, defend your case, argue your point. That granted, you may not win people over, but at least you can convince maybe some other people, and if nothing else, you reaffirm your values. But at the same time, you can also, see the other person's side and say, well, okay, I grant you, maybe I was wrong on this one point. Doesn't mean my whole argument's wrong, but maybe I was wrong on this one point, or maybe I need to rethink this idea a little bit through. I don't have all the answers. That's one of the things I try to tell people. I don't have all the answers. I never have, and I never will. And it's okay. And I guess that's the thing I was saying. It's okay. Unfortunately, we live in a world now that wants to reduce everything to a very pithy, I dare say, smart-ass 15-second soundbite that sounds good on the what's his name, Oliver show, or John Maher, or whatever his name is, or Paul Stewart, or David Letterman, or Jay Leno, or one of those nighttime comic guys. And political satire is sort of like, well, that's where it's really at, And Jon Stewart, I guess that's the guy's name. So anyway, all I'm saying is that sometimes complex things are complex for a reason, and you can't answer them with a cute little, smarmy little 15-second soundbite. Might sound nice, it might get a few laughs, but it completely, sells a very complex thing and kind of makes it like, well, if you can't answer in 15 seconds, why bother? Well, again, there are a lot of complex things that you can't answer in 15 seconds. And nor should you. So, anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking about tonight, is that, we all come from different backgrounds. We've all been had different life experiences, different educational experiences. I would hope that people realize that education certainly is not something that you find in an institution, but education is something that you give to yourself. You learn something because you want to know something passionately. And yes, you can go to a university or a college or a JC or take a course or something. Yeah, those are all great, but that's really not education. Those are tools to education. But education is more of a personal, almost a kind of a spiritual journey that you undertake yourself. And you can use the tools at hand to help you, but you have to be the one that wants to learn something passionately. And sometimes it's not enough just to, take, say, a party line and say, well, this is what people are saying, so I'm going to subscribe to that. Well, you can if you want to. But, you want to also look at both sides of the issue. And if you do, and even if you still hold to what you originally believed, at least you know why you believe what you believe, not because somebody told you. And again, I think that a lot of us have had wonderful experiences, most of us, and we're colored that way. We're kind of colored a certain way to see the world a certain way. And that's not saying it's right or wrong, it's just saying that's just the way it is. But if you can appreciate your viewpoint at the same time appreciate somebody else's viewpoint, even though you may disagree with them. Say, I never considered it that way. I never saw it that way. Or, I have seen it that way, or I've considered it, and I just don't. I'm just not compelled to see it your way. I'm sorry. And here's why. So anyway, I don't know what your values are. How did you acquire your values? Again, I think that whole analogy I just shared earlier about, pipe smoking. I think the reason why I'm a pipe smoker is because the person that, imaged that for me was somebody that I looked up to, admired. I wanted to even emulate in many ways. And then later in life, when I would see other, at the time, I know we have ladies out there that smoke pipes, God bless you. But when I was growing up, it was mostly men. You didn't see a lot of ladies smoking pipes. Although you would see every now and then in westerns, you'd see a little gal on a rocking chair with a little clay pipe or maybe a meerschaum. And that was okay. That was okay. But again, every time I'd see a gentleman who smoked a pipe, I have to say that I was predisposed to see that person favorably. And for me, I would approach them. I'd want to be kind of close to them. I'd want to introduce myself and say, "Oh, my brother smokes a pipe. But what are you smoking? That smells delicious." Or that smells wonderful. That's a great pipe. I remember the very first time I saw a Danish freehand pipe. There was a very handsome young guy with this full beard. He looked like he was in one of those commercials. He really did. He was just a very striking guy. He and his wife, and anyway, I think he was bartending, I remember. And he had a pipe, and he was pouring glasses of wine, and he was smoking this beautiful, beautiful Danish freehand. The guy, just like I said, he looked like something from a commercial. He was perfect. And this beautiful Danish freehand was just even more, just exquisite. And from that moment on, I wanted a Danish freehand. Not only did I love the pipe smoker and the pipe smoking and the beautiful aroma or the announcement of the beautiful tobacco that was filling the room, but when I saw that Danish freehand, I was captivated. I said, I got to get me one of those. Know the feeling? I think a few of you do. But had I grown up, let's say just the opposite, if I grew up with a home that was very, very, I don't want to say conservative, because there's nothing wrong with being conservative. I hope I made that point abundantly clear. There's nothing wrong with being conservative. One of these days we'll rediscover that actually conservative values are actually pretty darn good, and also necessary, I think, for a good society. But anyway, I'll put that comment down for now, put that thought down for now, and move on to finish with my pipe thing. But if I grew up in, say, a kind of a home where they thought that smoking, period, was evil, bad, disgusting, nasty, socially unacceptable, deplorable, whatever. I saw somebody smoking a pipe. One, I think, would be absolutely bizarre and weird. Why you're putting a burning piece of wood in your mouth, you idiot? Don't you know you're going to get lip cancer? Don't you know you're going to come up with throat cancer? Don't you know you're polluting the environment with that stinky, smelly tobacco? So again, I probably would have a whole totally different approach. But if I decided that I was going to maybe try to, introduce myself to this person who I kind of thought had a very bizarre habit, and maybe make friends with them and say, by the way, I noticed that you smoke a pipe. Aren't you concerned about getting cancer, or aren't you concerned for health reasons? And don't you know that's bad for you? And, getting a chance to hear their side of it. And chances are, you're going to probably hear what most pipe smokers say is like, well, one, I don't smoke that much. I don't, very occasionally. And two, I don't inhale. And three, I enjoy it. And besides, almost anything in this life is going to kill you one way or another. Nobody gets out of this world alive, let me tell you that. So anyway, so thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing your thoughts and comments. So again, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying this beautiful autumnal time. And we will talk to you soon with the next video. So until then, light up your meerschaum, light up your world, and light up your pipe. So see ya. Take care.